Hey, welcome back. Chuck here at Garden Spot Acres. Working on another video today. We're going to be putting the trusses onto the playhouse. Let's take a look at what we've accomplished so far, and after that we'll get working on those trusses. The siding's all on. Our loft floor is in. All our bracing is in. We have the floor done. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to cut some notches out up here where the trusses go. So when I put those in, I have a little bit of support to hold them up by myself. So let's get working on that, and then we'll try to get a few trusses up. Okay, our first truss obviously is going out here on the end. Our next truss is going 2 feet from that one, and that's the mark for it right there. So you can see I mocked up the end of a truss here, 22.5-degree angle. If you go back and watch my video on making the trusses, all the angles were 22.5 degrees. So that truss goes in there. You can see it's not going to sit in here because of the floorboard here. So I'm going to have to notch this floorboard out, and I'll do it a little bit at a time till I get the length that I need. Then I can go ahead and replicate it 3 times on each side. So again, you can see that it doesn't fit here. It needs to cut a notch here. So I'm going to estimate what my notch has to be. I'm thinking my notch is going to have to be the same distance as that right there. Let's see how much that is. 2 1/4. So I'm just going to eyeball this, because that truss is going to be sitting up against this loft joist here. So there's 2 1/4. Now I'm going to come over 1.5 inches. A little bit more than 1.5 inches. I don't want to make it too snug in there. I can't move it around. So there's 2 1/4. Let's see how that works. Let's see how that fits in here. I think that's perfect right there. But she's gonna have to fit in more than that though. She's gonna have to fit in flush here. It can't be flush here because my trusses aren't wide enough. My trusses only come out to here. So it looks like I have to cut another 3/4 of an inch. So that would give me a 3-inch cut over here. There we go. So I'm just going to extend that another This is bringing out to 3 1/4. I don't want to go way too far. I don't want it to look garbagey or not good. I don't want to leave a huge gap in here, so I'm gonna just try that one. Let's try that. Let's see where that brings us. Oh, that's perfect right there. Let me check it out, make sure the angle's good. Oh yeah. Yep, perfect right there. I like that. That looks good. You can see down here, she's right on the edge, right where she needs to be. Now you get any idea now how putting the loft floor in and then cutting the notch helps you put these trusses up? I'm just able to put them right in there, just set them in. And the only ones I can't do are obviously the ones on the end where there's no loft. But this sure is handy for these few that I have to put in like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put another one here and another one down there. And I'll come back with you when I have all these notches cut out. And we'll start putting those trusses up. If you've never used one of the oscillating multi-tools before, one of the mistakes that beginners make with these, and I did too because I never used one, is you put too much pressure on it when you're cutting. Just let the tool do the cutting. Don't put a lot of pressure on it, you'll stop the oscillation. Then you'll wonder why it's taking so long to cut. So when I'm cutting these out here, I'm just letting the weight of the tool be it. I'm just letting it cut down through the wood on its own. Now if you're cutting this way, you got to put a little pressure on it. But not a lot of pressure, because you're just going to stop the oscillation or slow it down so much that it's not going to cut well. So just a little tip there, because I watched somebody the other day use one for the first time, and it was just like me the first time. You put too much pressure on them, and you wonder why they're not cutting well. So let's cut this last one out, and we'll get started on those trusses. Now we'll just give that a test fit. This side's a little bit different because I have this starter piece I used here, and this is going to have a little gap in it. I couldn't just leave it. I couldn't cut to here. I had to cut to the gap, and you'll see when I put that in. When I put it in where it needs to be out here, you can see that I got a little gap here. That's not a big deal, but this is the idea, that your truss gets held in while you're working alone. So it's pretty easy to put them up. Before we put our first truss up, I'm going to put some supports up here that are just running up the side of the building, so my truss has something to lay against as I'm working on it. But since this is out 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to have to put a little other piece onto it, onto my upright brace, in order for it to be where I want it to be on the truss. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw a couple boards on like this. Screw them onto here. They'll extend up. Put one on the other side, it'll extend up. Then I can put my truss up there and I'll have something to lean against. Because this first one doesn't have any, that doesn't have the notch. It's right here on the end. We have those on. I can put my first truss up there and put it into place. Make sure I get all my materials that I want. I'll just tack it in with a framing nailer first. So let me get that up on the loft. Okay, this end truss here, this is the one that's going up on the loft end where I just put the braces. This is the heavy one, because I had to have it framed up for the window. You can see the window frame here. And these braces are going to go on the inside. So I got to make sure I put that up the right way. And the flat, no braces here, that goes on the outside. Not too bad. I just got to remember this thing's the same width as this, or even wider than this loft floor, so I got to be careful I don't fall off the other end. I guess I want to be on this side of it, don't I? Okay, let's start lifting it up. Well, at least I got the braces somewhat close there. Let's check this end. Oh good, she's right on there, very nice. Okay, she's gonna be snug right up against. Perfect. That's what I was talking about. You can see the gap right here. See the gap? I gotta put another little piece in here, a little 3/4 inch piece to make up for those siding, just to hold it up while I'm working. So I'm just gonna tack that into place here. And I think I'll tack it this way. That feels pretty good. Gives me enough time to get down here now. Yeah, there's no pulling this truss. There's no stretching this truss because of these cross members on it. So I'm out here maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch. I'm off, but it's on the other side. It's not going to make any difference when all is said and done anyways, because this is all going to be built up here with 3/4 inch pine. Then it's going to have some insulation panels. Then it's going to have 2x4s screwed in, so the metal roof is way out over the end anyways. So let's get this one tacked in. First truss is up. I'm gonna go grab a couple 3/4 inch pieces and we're gonna put them onto there and screw that to the braces. There. Now we're going to go down here. And you can see down here underneath this. You can see down here underneath this cross member here. And this cross member sits like right down. It's supposed to be like 3/4 of an inch even with the bottom of this floor here. And it will be. I'll draw it down a little bit. But I'm going to put a 2x4 all the way across here. And then we're going to screw that down into that 2x4 with some construction screws. Probably use 3 or 4 of them down through here. And that's going to hold this truss as the end truss. Now I got some junk 2x4s here that aren't much good for anything else besides this type of work. I'm going to need some to box in my ends from my purlins, which are going to be coming out towards me here. I need to box those purlins. I can use these for that too. But I need one right here right now put in here. So I'm going to cut an angle here. That's 22.5 degrees. That way I can put the 8-footer in here, then put a small piece down the other end. Very good. Okay, now I need to fill that piece in. Oh, let's see. If at first you don't succeed, hit it harder. This is all covered up by siding. No biggie. I'm going to take some of these 6-inch screws here, and we're going to go from the top of that 2x4 down. And we're going to move that back flush as I'm putting this in. Yeah, I think I'm going to put 3 in. I'll put one here, middle, and down there. And just like that, we're anchoring that truss down. Very good. This truss is really solid for no other trusses holding with it.
Wait, dog.
Okay, we're putting one into the slots now. See how easy this is? It's in. Doesn't take much. Got to kick it over here. We'll tack it in there with a nail. We'll tack this side in with a nail. And that's it. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest of these trusses on. They're all put on the same way. When you get out here, we're just going to tack them. Then we'll use the construction screws. And I'll put a couple of those in for you before I end the video. And the end one down here is put on just like the first one we put on. Exactly the same way. And there we go. That's it. So thanks for coming along on this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys have a great day. And if you could you share this with your family and friends and anybody else you think might be interested? We'd really appreciate that too. So thanks again. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.